Hey Canucks fans, two big news items regarding the team today. The first one, Quinn Hughes is traveling to Boston for the Four Nations Face-Off Final as an injury replacement for himself, I guess. I'll get to that in a second, but first, let's talk about Drew O'Connor's brand new 2-year contract. Yes, Drew O'Connor, our bottom six forward, who's delighted Canucks fans in his 4 games. 2 goals already, 2 goals in 4 games. One was an empty netter, one was a penalty shot in overtime, and already endearing himself to Canucks fans with his wonderful blend of size, 6'4", 210, and his speed. The guy is fast. Him and Hedl have brought this really, really cool element of speed to the Canucks offensive attack. Not bad defensively, all those things. So rewarded with a 2-year contract worth $2.5 million. Of course, Drew O'Connor came over in the trade with Marcus Pettersson that saw, that the second part of that big trade, the big trades that happened on, a couple weeks ago that saw JT Miller go to the Rangers, then us getting a first round pick that ended up going to Pittsburgh with some pieces for, in essence, Pettersson and O'Connor. GM Patrick Alvin said this: Drew has really made a good first impression since joining our team from Pittsburgh at the beginning of this month. We like his size, speed, and ability to get in on the forecheck and hound pucks. Our staff also feel confident that they can help Drew take his game to another level, and we are excited to see what the future holds for him with the Vancouver Canucks. So once again, he came over at the end of January, start of February, and yeah, I always get the pieces of the trade mixed up off the top of my head, but I know that was the one that saw, that was the one that had Heinen and Desharnais, I think, going to Pittsburgh, along with that first round pick that we got from the Rangers in the Miller deal. So if you're looking at the trades as a whole, you guys know on this channel I've always said that with the Miller part, it was addition by subtraction, and then the fact that they got Pettersson to address their biggest need, and that was strengthening the decor, and then Drew O'Connor was a nice piece that would hopefully add to our bottom six. Now Pettersson has signed his 6-year extension. Now O'Connor has signed it for another 2 years. So at least neither of those 2 players were rentals. In my eyes, it makes the trades even look a little bit better now that both guys are indeed signed for a bit of term. So a bit more about Drew O'Connor. Like I said, 6'4", 209, undrafted. He was undrafted, but then he's 26 years old, so he's right in the kind of the prime of his career. But he was signed by the Pittsburgh Penguins way back in 2010. And really, when it comes to his stats, he had 1 point in 10 games in his first season, 5 points in 22 games, 11 points in 46 games. So slowly increasing that point per game, slowly up from 0 to 2.5 points per game. Then he had 33 in 79 games. So 2 years ago, last season I should say, he played in all 79 games, 79 of 82 games, had 33 points. So he's cresting over that 0.25 point per game mark. And then in Pittsburgh, kind of dropped below that. He had 10 points in 53 games. And now with us, he has 2 points in 4 games. And when it comes to his actual contract, he signed a typical 2-year entry-level deal with Pittsburgh when he came in, and that paid him $925,000 was a 2-year entry-level deal. Then he signed a 1-year, brought back a little bit to $750,000. Probably they weren't sure what they had in O'Connor, Pittsburgh that is. And then his most recent contract that is expiring this season, it's back to $925,000, 2 years at $925,000. So to go from $925,000 a year up to $2.5 million a year, that's a big leap, obviously. But it's not, I think it's reasonable when you think of what you expect from a bottom six. Top 6 guys, top line guys are making 7, 8, 9, in PD's case, $11.6 million. And then second line guys make somewhere between 4 and 6 million. So bottom 6, anywhere from league minimum up to about 2 to 3 million. So 2.5, I think is fine. I really think is fine. And then next year, it'll still put him below Dakota Joshua, put him ahead of Teddy Blueger and Kiefer Sherwood, and then just under Niels Höglander as well. So you can see how the bottom 6 guys, it can range, like I said, from league minimum of $900,000 all the way up to about 3 million or so. So overall, I think this is a really good deal, especially if Drew O'Connor continues to play and develop the way he has shown. I get it. It's been only 4 games, a very small sample size, but I think he's done enough to show that obviously the Canucks want to invest in him at least for 2 more years. Okay, that is the Drew O'Connor news. Even bigger news and almost more confusing news is the fact that Quinn Hughes is going to Boston to be with Team USA for their final game. Notice I didn't say he's going to play in the final. So here's the deal. Try and stick with me here. He was obviously named as one of the first 6 players. He was going to be a core piece of Team USA. Then he got injured against Dallas at the end of January, and when the teams had to declare their final rosters, Quinn Hughes was not on it. Jake Sanderson from the Ottawa Senators was meant to go send in his absence. These rosters for the Four Nations face-offs, as I've talked about, they are 23-man rosters, but 3 of those spots are for goalies. So now you're down to 20 skaters. So that means there's 12 forwards and 6 defensemen playing. You only get 1 extra forward, 1 extra skater. So 13 forwards and 7 defensemen. Sorry, 1 extra forward, 1 extra defenseman. So 13 forwards and 7 D-men. So if a forward or a defenseman got injured, now you're playing with bare minimum, and only if another guy gets injured, then you're allowed to bring someone in. And that's what the Canucks, that's what Team Canada got to do with Thomas Harley. When Makar was out, and so remember, Shea Theodore got hurt in the first game, and then Makar was not able to play on Saturday against the U.S., so that meant the Team Canada was down to 5 defensemen, so they were to bring Thomas Harley in as a 6. Now, it was interesting. While Makar was practicing, Harley wasn't allowed to be on the ice at the same time because they still had their 60. But as soon as Makar went off the ice, Harley could join. So you could have no more than 6. Harley could only replace Makar. Could never be on the ice at the same time as him. Harley ended up playing on Saturday night as Makar was unfit to go. So that's the precedent that was set with Team Canada. So with Team USA, let's forget about the fact that Quinn Hughes was originally named to the team. That's why I made that joke about he's an injury replacement for himself. So right now, Jake Sanderson was named as the injury replacement to Hughes. So they had their 7 defensemen. But Charlie McAvoy, as we heard, had an infection to an injury that he suffered against Canada on Saturday night, maybe from plowing over Connor McDavid twice. So McAvoy can't play on Thursday night. So now the USA still has 6 healthy defensemen. So it's not like they can bring Quinn Hughes in and just parachute him into the lineup. Technically, someone from the US has to get injured or get sick. Now, it goes without saying that Quinn Hughes is the best defenseman on that roster. There's some good defensemen, McAvoy and Fox, and there's some good defensemen on there, Werenski for sure. But Hughes is the best of them. So wouldn't you rather have Hughes in there instead of Jake Sanderson, for instance? So I'm not saying that the Canuck brothers are going to take Sanderson out behind in the alley behind practice and maul him or hit him in the head with a garbage can. But it'll be fascinating to see, absolutely fascinating to see what happens to the U.S. blue line mysteriously between now and game time on Thursday night. And remember, same rules that applied to Harley will apply to Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes cannot actually practice with the team, cannot be with the team on the ice until another defenseman goes down with injury or illness. Now, I don't know if someone's going to mysteriously get the flu. I know the flu was going around the Swedish locker room, so maybe they're just going to roll around in the Swedish locker room for a couple minutes. But in all seriousness, how tempting would it be, right? If the biggest game internationally, U.S. in a decade, playing against Canada, and you have the best defenseman in the world basically waiting there but not able to play, even though ironically he was named as one of the first 6 players to this team and had to bow out. Now there's a bit of confusion over whether or not what happens if there's a USA forward that goes down, because Matthews, Canuck, all of them were either did not play or were questionable. They didn't play when they played Finland last night. Sorry, when they played Sweden. Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk didn't play, and Brady Tkachuk got hurt in the middle of the game. So that's 3 forwards. Granted, they're probably all likely able to play, but what happens if they go below the 12 forward threshold? Can you go 11 forward, 7D? I don't know. I know Sweden did that, so I don't know if that is allowed too. So let's just follow this story over the next 2 days, whether or not Quinn Hughes will actually get into the lineup. Yeah, and from a Canucks perspective, it's good news that Hughes is healthy enough to travel and play. So that's a good thing. That means he's going to be healthy enough and to play for the Vancouver Canucks for their final third of this season. And that was the whole point of not going to the Four Nations in the first place. But I guess something happens when you make the final against Canada, and it's going to be this highly anticipated game. So Quinn Hughes is indeed on his way. But from a Canucks standpoint, this is good news. And I'm not worried about him actually playing and getting hurt again. No. The fact that he's going over there and ready to play is great news for Canucks fans. For Canadian hockey fans, it sucks from a standpoint of it severely impairs our chances of winning if Quinn Hughes is playing. You saw the effect that Cale Makar had last night, yesterday morning for Canada. And then I guess for overall quality of the game, it's a good thing. It'll make it even that more exciting, albeit more tougher to win for Canada. So there we go. Some news about Quinn Hughes, some news about Drew O'Connor. Canucks fans, in the chat, in the comments down below, I should say, give me your reaction. Give me your reaction to Drew O'Connor's 2-year contract, $2.5 million per season. Give me your reaction to Quinn Hughes being called to Boston and serving as an injury replacement. And just let me know, do you think somehow, by hook or by crook, Quinn Hughes is playing against Canada on Thursday night? Let me know in the comments below. Tonight, I have one show, 11 p.m. after bowling, before I go to my church hour. So make sure you join me. We'll talk about both of these things. It'll be a quick action-packed show, but make sure you join me tonight at 11 p.m. for my live stream. Shout out to my sponsors, Advanced City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Harry Ma, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame franchise members. Thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe, and leave a donation. It helps me out a lot. And most importantly, leave a comment down below. Drew O'Connor, 2-year contract. Quinn Hughes, maybe playing savior for Team USA. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.